Welcome to Bloodbath and Beyond. Today we review House of the Dead. You won't last the night.
You must stop curing, or else something terrible will happen.
Directed by Uwe Boll and starring Jonathan Cherry, Tyron Leitso, Ona Grauer, Anuka Okuma, as well as Jürgen Prochnow. Based on the video game of the same name, House of the Dead has a bunch of friends going to an island for a big rave. Unfortunately, the island is riddled with zombies, and they have to fight to survive. So guys, what did we like?
I liked that this film was beyond cheesy. I don't know if it was the intention.
Everybody hold on a minute. Maybe I can get us some answers.
But I liked the campy feel. The zombies were bad that you could make fun of. The situations were hilarious. And I also enjoyed that like Sega was like a part of this. This is clearly the downfall of that company.
Meow?
I like and dislike the fact that they put in the video game transitions. Yeah, that's showing. It's like, okay, I get the point, but I also kind of like that at the same time.
I'm absolutely shocked at that. That is like one of the worst aspects of this movie.
Like I said,
Opinions?
liked and didn't like. Agree to disagree.
Okay. Well, some scenes tend to go on a little bit longer than they need to. I thought the action was pretty good. You have just a bunch of random people with a bunch of different guns shooting a bunch of zombies. I also like that we had babes and blood.
And you forgot one other B. We had boobs.
There were boobs.
Yeah, like there were some nice boobs in this film.
I'd agree.
Would you agree, Frank?
I might. If I turn a bit red, that's probably me, not the camera.
Did you get a real good peek there, Perfect?
I liked how badass the fucking skipper was. He's like just sitting there hanging out on his boat. Zombies walk up as if he's seen them before. He pulls out his deagle and just pops them in the head. And then he just pulls out a cigar and then just keeps popping
Nothing
heads.
new to him. As long as he's got a cigar, all good.
I like that these zombies were like kind of flying around. Like it was pretty hilarious that they were trying so hard to make this like the video game. Like the zombies crawling without the legs, popping out of the corners.
Even later in the movie where there was going down that tunnel or cavern, but then it cuts to the game transitions of them doing the same on theirs. I don't know, I like that.
I like that we had a variety of guns and weapons.
Mossberg 500 stainless shotgun with incendiary shells.
It did feel like a video game in that aspect where it's like, here's a crate of guns, just go to town.
You got your Mossberg, you got your Tommy gun, the double deagles, gold deagles, I think.
Yeah, they were gold.
There's a deagle. I like the way you think, girl.
That's on some face-off shit.
I'd like to take his face off.
It was cool that they had some money here. There was definitely a budget because there was big explosions. They set up this Matrix kind of like moving around characters. At the time, it was probably way cooler than it currently is. Although, the Rotten Tomatoes score does not suggest that it was loved back then either. I like that they kind of moved from like scene to scene similar to like levels in a video game. So like you mentioned with like, they had the catacombs, they had the house, they had the forest, they had water zombies, which is something that we don't often see. And I'm gonna be honest, and I know that there's definitely a hatred for some of them, but I thought 60% of the zombies were pretty good looking. But then, we'll talk about it later.
So what did we dislike?
The zombies weren't stellar. Some were cool, but there were ones, like that one guy just was like an old guy in the water. There was another woman, she looked like she was a vampire.
Some of them didn't pull it off right either. There was one that was just kind of standing there like this and then popped out.
And it was so weird that they were like parkour zombies. And like you could see the trampolines in certain scenes that they're jumping off of to fly in the air like they're a flying squirrel.
There were a few, what I could see, movie references in there as well, or homages, that just, you didn't need to put it in there. Jaws. There was a Lord of the Rings one. I didn't like that at all. Jurassic Park as well.
Right, they did a Jurassic Park. Reference a zombie movie.
They did say Romero.
But those are reanimated corpses, just like out of a fucking Romero movie.
A what?
A Romero movie, you know, like the Holy Trilogy, Night, Dawn, and Day?
I wasn't a big fan of all the characters in this movie. Some were pretty cool, but it's like they're a bunch of partying young adults who all of a sudden are like badass at everything they do. One guy can like go around and like snipe people, or Liberty being like a martial arts specialist. Like they couldn't hold a gun when they were walking, but they were like combat specialists.
Yeah, like it showed the the Coast Guard there, showing him, oh, that's how you got to hold the gun type thing, very briefly. And then all of a sudden, yeah, next scene, other pros, headshots galore. And it's okay. Just took a second and you're good with a gun.
Can I just say also, there's a huge issue when you're going for the biggest rave of the year. You hire a bunch of gun smugglers and you get to an island and there's 0 raves happening. They just jumped off of the ship and they're like, all right, see you later. Like, there's nothing to suggest that there's a rave here.
We're on the island where the rave of the year is supposed to be happening, but it's completely deserted.
And when they got to the rave, there was like blood everywhere, not a person in sight. And what did they do? They just partied. They're like, yeah, this is what we came here for.
Must have been a good rave.
Everybody pour yourself a quarter solo cup of Bud and pretend like you're jamming out to music that doesn't actually exist. Biff Naked must have taken the night off or got eaten by a goddamn zombie. I don't know. And then that one guy made an announcement trying to get people's attention and then tries to have sex on the stage. I know this isn't much of a review or dislike or likes or anything, but the fact that that guy was in a porta potty covered in shit for the entire movie and he never changed, and so they were just walking around with like that one guy who actually smells like a toilet. I'm gonna be honest, if either of you were stuck in a porta potty, I would immediately tell you to change.
He could have just took his shirt off.
But he would have gotten cold.
On an island? A raven island?
You don't know how cold it would have been there.
Wear any of the other bloody shirts.
I think something bad's happened here. Ooh, like what?
Let's say yes, the acting was a little subpar.
Box, we have this entire place to ourselves to dance the night away, and I intend to put it to good use.
I'm not so sure that's...
It could have used more ADR work.
I didn't hear you, idiot!
Go take a piss.
Go pee in the bushes!
Gosh, I just gotta go and take a piss is all. All this beer's gotta go somewhere.
When they did the game over screens.
And they weren't even consistent. There's only 2 in the movie.
It wasn't just the game over sequences, whether it was like cutting to a clip from the video game, doing a random blood wipe. Everything that was trying to be artistic just looked really, really bad and really cheesy.
Speaking of blood, though, CG blood. And it's like, come on.
I think it was just an image.
Yeah, and one thing was just an image, yes.
The Matrix scenes.
I thought they were very, like the acting, subpar. And they were done much better in a much better movie. As well, the over-the-top showing of them being badasses. Wow, that was a lot to take in there.
It was.
Because they were not badasses in the least. Maybe the skipper.
I think that might just be attributed to having a cigar in your mouth. The action scenes were just like really long. While I did appreciate aspects of them, there's actually one scene in the courtyard where it lasts for 15 full minutes. Maybe longer than that.
And
it's
a
just
very fake looking graveyard-esque thing as well.
Right.
Those tombstones were bought at a Walmart or something. Yeah.
The fact that it just went on for so long.
And I think one of like the worst shots was when like Greg was like running through the forest and like the camera's like looking up at his face and it cuts to the zombies in the exact same shot. It was a really out of place close-up shot.
It comes back down to the consistency of the editing and the shooting style. If you're gonna do Snorri cam or found footage looking things, do it more often or not at all. If you're gonna do game over scenes, do it for all the characters, not just 2. If you're gonna do this Matrix stuff, don't just do it in the courtyard scene, try it throughout the movie so it feels like a consistent piece.
Yeah, even they had like narration at the beginning there too. They used it at the beginning,
right?
Partway through
like
the
a
beginning.
film noir.
Yeah, and then just at the ending again. That's it.
Karma thinks she's Foxy Brown. She has a crush on Simon, but Simon only has eyes for Alicia.
They could have done much better with narration, or just get rid of the narration altogether.
Yeah,
it wasn't needed.
So first off, you've done 2 things. You've made this seem cheesy as fuck already, and you've made it so that we know who the person who lives is.
If only they decided to stay back in Seattle, they'd all be alive today.
It's time for our final thoughts and ratings.
This wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be, to be honest, but there's a lot of really bad things about it, and I can understand why people would hate it. The editing is primarily the biggest issue, and the inconsistency with nearly every aspect of the film is also problematic. However, there are a bunch of zombies that get killed, there's lots of blood, and there are babes. This is likely one of the easiest movies to riff on because of the characters' decisions and some of the strange shit that happens. I don't know why they opted to to do things the way that they did. But I had a good time watching it because it was a bad movie. So I'm gonna give this 2 high school play looking sets out of 5.
As a huge fan of the House of the Dead franchise, playing every game, even the typing of the dead, I really was looking forward to this film when it first came out. But of course, Uwe Boll dropped the ball completely. Is it a fun time? Yes, I do like the campy nature. Like, there's so much wrong with it that it ends up actually being good. The story itself is just riddled with plot holes. Our zombies are cheesy, our acting isn't strong, but our cast, you know, we do have the babes, which we're always thankful for. And we have the blood, which we're also always thankful for. So there's a lot that you could be thankful for in this film, but there's a lot more to dislike. And with that being said, I'm gonna have to give this film 1.5 Masters of Cinematography out of 5.
It wasn't the greatest. It didn't feel like that much of a horror movie to me. It was more comedic, obviously, for various reasons. Acting wasn't the greatest. Some of the shots, the transitions, as much as I did like and dislike the video game transitions, they were also, to me, unneeded. But if you're looking for something fun that you can make fun of with others, then yeah, give it a watch. And if you've never played the games, probably play those instead. So with that, I'm gonna give this 1 hooked first mate out of 5.
As always, thank you for watching. Like this video and comment below with your thoughts on the film if you've seen it. If you haven't and you do want to check it out, there are links in the description where you can find it. If this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel to stay updated with everything Bloodbath and beyond.